Ahoy there folks, I'm Captain Benzie and it's everyone's favourite time of the week again, the developer Q&A for EVE Echoes. Each week the developers take a series of questions posed by you, the community. They respond to those questions and post the responses to the official EVE Echoes Discord, Twitter account, Facebook page and somewhere in game. But I know that you guys like to come and listen to me rant and rave about this because, yeah, this is where we have the fun blowout of each week where I get to take all of my stress for the last 7 days and drop it out the front door. So, this week we have 5 questions. I have not properly pre-read these, I've given them a quick glance over as usual, pretty much a live reaction. I'm going to be reading the questions, giving my thoughts, reading the answers, and giving my thoughts. Excellent opportunity to talk about game design. I've spent all day pretty much today on fleet comms in EVE Online, so you're going to have to forgive the fact that my voice is fading. We've had some pretty funky battles in our wormhole today. It's been amazing, but hey, that's EVE Online. This is EVE Echoes weekly developer Q&A for the 6th of June through to the 12th of June. Question number 1 then. Currently, players with access to Corporation Wallet withdrawing ISK is only subject to a 1-hour audit, but there are no means to block the withdrawal to prevent a potential theft of funds. Are there any plans to put in safety features like approvals for X amount of ISK that can be set by the CEO? This is genuinely a good question. I've always wondered what the point of that hour audit was if you can't do anything about it anyway. Like, it should be set up kind of like a corporation hangar where people can request and then the CEOs or the financial officers or whoever can sit there and go, yep, that's fine, I'll allow that one and let it through. That's how it should work, and it's always puzzled me that that's not how it works, but hey. The corporation permissions, says Clouds, are already complicated enough, really? And adding individual withdrawal limits for players can complicate things even further. Currently, corporations can contract to distribute ISK rewards or compensation to members. Yeah, and paying taxes and fees, Cloud. That's why the wallet withdrawal exists as a thing. This really doesn't do anything for that whole feeling of the developers not understanding their own freaking game. Because to say that adding the permission settings are already complicated, no they're not. You just have a guy who's set up as your financial officer who goes through and allows things. It's exactly the same. It's Corp Wallet access, and then people can request. You just set up a request feature that when anyone requests ISK, someone from the financial team, someone with the financial officer role, just has to okay it. This isn't rocket science. This is standard MMO fare at this point. World of Warcraft has this kind of stuff with guild bank access and so on. EVE Online has this with its own corporation wallets and things, so why doesn't Echoes? Because they don't see a need for it, basically. Despite the fact that it's pretty obvious the kind of thing you might need a need for, but I don't know. It's just, yeah, clearly even Cloud, I've had a lot of respect for the core development team for Echoes, because I've talked to them for years, I've given them a lot of slack, because I know that a lot of the things they wanted to implement into the game that would have been really nice changes were essentially naysayed by the requisitions team. Remember, the core developers, like Cloud, Lance, Melos, Exile and all these, are essentially just brainstormers. They come up with the ideas, they then go to NetEase HQ and say, this is what we would like to add to the game. If NetEase says, yes, we agree, then they, assign a team of staff to make it happen, do the coding, do the artwork, that kind of thing. But when it comes down to it, I'm beginning to now lose faith even in the likes of Cloud, because sitting here saying it's already complicated enough. Yeah, if you're running a corporation, then yeah, it's complex. Running a corporation is complex, by its very nature. That's something that people like in the game. As for setting individual withdrawal limits, that's not what anyone's asking. They're asking for ways to, approve certain amounts that can be set by the CEO. So yeah, having someone request ISK and then someone go, yes, that's okay. That's not difficult. That's not the question that was being asked, Cloud, and you've kind of missed the point completely. Question number 2 then. Clone-bound Plex for new players or Omega for a couple of days? No, just clone-bound Plex would be great. Omega, I kind of get that EVE Echoes uses a different system to EVE Online, but we'll talk about that in a moment. Implement certain in-game tasks, mining, PvP, PvE missions, etc. By fulfilling these tasks criteria, newbies can obtain above-mentioned gifts. This will be very helpful for them and motivate them to play, grow, and enjoy the game. Thanks, devs, for this lovely game, and hope this game will get better and better. Now, I don't agree with giving Omega or Plex for mining or PvP or missions and things like that. Plex should be the thing that you spend ISK to get. So therefore, if you get ISK for mining, PvP, and things like that, then that's good enough. Ultimately, I get where this question is coming from, though. Wouldn't it be nice if there was a reason to go out in PvP? Wouldn't it be nice to have some actual goals and targets to achieve? Which you kind of do with the first load of the little tutorial mission things. I'm not talking about the tutorial that's the really badly written story. I'm talking about once you finish that. There's that one that's like train 2 skills, earn this many ISK from bounties, and then you can level it up and reach the next tech level, and you unlock the next set of sort of quests to do, I suppose you could refer to them as. Yeah. I think adding new content for new players, definitely. I think new things to get players motivated and involved in the game, definitely. Giving out Plex and Omega, not so much. Plex is something that is supposed to be tied to a market and does have some issues just giving it out freely, because essentially it's printing money. It's printing the Plex, which it does cause issues. Same with Omega. Now, ultimately, we also need to talk about this idea of clone-bound Plex. That, I don't know. I think Plex should be just spread. I think Plex should be spread across all of your clones anyway. I think if you want to Omega, like in EVE Online, you Omega your account, but then you pay a multi-character training to have different characters train. You can buy Omega, and all of your characters now have Omega, but only one of them can still be skilling. You have to buy the MCT to get the other characters skilling. Obviously, in Echoes, you've got cheaper Omega that you can put onto all 3 characters, and that's the same cost as buying Omega on EVE Online. So there is that to think about. But I do think Plex and Aurum should be shared by the account, not by the character. And currently that is not the case, which means if you want to do something on one character and it only, say, requires 25 Plex, and you want to do something on another character that requires 50 Plex, you can't just buy 75 Plex. You've got to buy 25 and then, you know, more elsewhere, which is set up because that's how game developers do it when they're doing these monetization things. You'll notice that a lot of the things that you want to buy, when you work it out, don't quite twin up with the packs that you're buying. You'll spend $10 on a pack that will get you a certain amount of Plex, but that won't be quite enough for what you want to do. Instead, you kind of have to go just beyond that, but the next pack that you get is going to be a lot more money. So rather than $10, you're now looking at $20 or whatever. And so you end up with a load of Plex, more than you need, that you just sit on. And the reason that they do this, having spoken to a lot of mobile game developers and people who understand the industry and have moved through it, it's basically because they understand that money sitting in your wallet needs to be spent. Players don't like sitting on 17 Aurum. They want to buy more, just because they want to use that 17 Aurum, because it's special money that can only be used in one shop, which means you are going to go back to that shop in order to get that money out of your wallet. We don't like having odd numbers of Aurum sitting on our accounts, so we end up topping up more Aurum in order to spend what we had. It gets you to spend more money by trying to get rid of the money that you have. It's such a weird psychological trait, but it's a thing. You can do research into this. Like a lot of people have done videos on this. The best one, which I'll try to remember to link in the description down below, was done by Josh Strife Hayes, who is one of my favorite gaming YouTubers. He does a load of really great content and videos, and he did one about Diablo Immortal that is quite frankly eye-opening. And even if you don't like Diablo Immortal or you don't care about the game, it's worth taking a look into to understand why companies like NetEase have things set up the way they are, and it is highly recommended watching for anyone watching my channel right now. What does Cloud say, though? Thank you for your suggestion. We agree that the reward and leveling system for new players needs improvement, but we think just offering Plex is not enough and can also be unfair. The new player reward system needs an overall optimization. We will do so just step by step. Stay tuned. What the new player experience needs is to get rid of the awful tech system that basically blocks them out of most of the game for an arbitrary period of 10 or so months. Like, you have to just... It's basically saying, hey, you want to come and play our game? You want to come and join all these people having fun here at Tech 10? Well, you can. You just need to pay us $15 a month and wait 10 months, then you can join in. And that's not fun for anyone. Nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to sit there flying around a Tech 4 ship and getting smashed by the same ship that is Tech 10 variant just because they can't fly the Tech 10 variant. Not because they don't even have skills in it. Like, think about it. You can be maxed in your frigate skills, expert everything, by Tech level 6, Tech level 7, but you still can't fly a Slasher Interceptor 2. You just can't do it because of how the tech system is set up. That's not the game, that's the tech system. You could certainly rework the tech system so that you could climb those branches individually. Like, if I don't give a crap about battleships, and I just want to fly a Slasher 2 Interceptor, then surely the better thing to do is reward me for skilling into frigate and small projectile skills in order to fly the Slasher 2 Interceptor. Don't make me wait 10 arbitrary months in order to fly a ship that I want to fly, that I have the skills for. I know people who are sitting there in literally all the skills they need to fly some of the Tech 10 cruisers or Tech 10 frigates and things like that, but they just can't because they haven't got enough skills elsewhere in crap they don't give a damn about. And to me, that just makes no sense. Like, if I want to fly a Slasher Interceptor and I've got all of the expert frigate skills, I've got all of the expert small cannon skills, I've even got things like all of the like tackle skills, engineering skills, targeting skills, all these kind of things, all maxed out, and I'm still not level 10, I still can't fly the ship. There's no skill that I can train now that is relevant, that is suddenly going to make that ship worth flying. I've got all the skills, just the game is holding me at arm's reach and going, you haven't waited long enough. And what is that? That's not gameplay. That's not decision-making. That's just arbitrary bullshit by the developers to get you to pay more to skill up as fast as possible by buying as many of the packs and things that you can do, like the Omega Skill Plan and that, to get as many skill points just to rush to Tech 10 as quickly as possible. And frankly, it's bullshit. It is damaging the game, it stops new players finding any enjoyment, and it does nothing for existing players either. It's just gatekeeping. It's just gatekeeping, and when your community's dying and you need new players, the last thing you want to be doing is gatekeeping. Question number 3 then, and my keyboard's not letting me go forward. Okay, fine, we're going to use the mouse. Like a rube. Question number 3. Hi, will the Voyage Core come back for Visago carriers and the others? There will be a new core coming for the next Interstellar Bazaar, give it a try. Oh, thank you, Cloud. Ignore the question of is the Voyage Core coming back, and no, we're just going to add a new one that is part of a paid event. Now, if you didn't catch my memo on this last time, here's a note for you people who think that the Interstellar Bazaars are good content. They're not. Ultimately, the price that NetEase sets these purchases at is based on the 50%. 50% off is the price that they think is actually a reasonable price that people are willing to spend. Which means if you don't use a 50% off voucher, you're using a 30%, a 10%, or God forbid you're just buying it because you weren't lucky enough to get one of the 50%, you're paying twice as much as you should be. It's not that you're getting 50% off with those vouchers, it's that you're getting it for the actual freaking price. And the idea of these Interstellar Bazaars is just bizarre, but spelt the other way. Essentially, it's an event that is just, hey, open your wallet. And I've said this since the start. I know a lot of people are like, oh, but Benzie used to support this. No, I used to support things like Concord Pass. I used to support things that were small payments to help the development of the game and, gave certain rewards. Things like putting the best nanocores in the game behind direct payments that no one can plex for. Yeah, it's awful. It is categorically awful in no way, shape, or form, because it becomes pay to win. Because, oh no, you want this core that, like the porcelain core, that just allows you to ignore certain enemy effects, or do things that the ship normally couldn't do. You can only do that if you swiped money for it. No thank you, give us an actual freaking event like the Crimson Harvest, or something that we can enjoy and actually do content in. Swiping your credit card is not content, and that's something I feel like some people in this community really need to understand. Swiping to get things you want is fine. Like, for crying out loud, I know plenty of people in EVE Online who swipe for Plex to buy skill injectors because they want to get where they want to get faster. That's fine. But thinking that it's content? Putting that in place of gameplay? Like, people do that with skill injectors because they want to be able to fly something and try a new type of content. When you're buying a nano core for $150, it's not because you want to try new content, it's just because you want to be better at what you're already doing, and when what you're already doing is so dogshit boring, you're not getting anything new out of this, right? You understand what I'm saying here? I don't know, I feel like this is a short question, I'm ramping on it, so I'm going to go on to question 4. So question 4 then, could we have an option to restrict kill mail posting in corporations logs? The same as fleet chat auto post. I would like to limit as much information to my potential enemies. Ooh woo. Yes, you just heard Benzie say ooh woo. We understand your concern, but disabling kill mail posting could lead to players hiding kill mails. In the past, this has caused inconveniences for all players. Therefore, we've added an auto-post function. What? Am I missing something here? Like, I don't see why hiding kill mails would ever really be a problem. And I also don't see why the auto-post's a problem. This feels like such a non-question. Am I really missing something here? Like, I need to remember the timestamp for it. It's around 15 minutes odd into the video, because a lot of you will reply with, hey, 15:20, and then give me an answer. So, yeah. Am I missing something here? Because I feel like there's something going on that I just don't understand. I understand that kill mails get posted to corporations and stuff like that, but I don't see why it's a problem. I also don't see why people would hide it or why that would be a problem. Like, just what? Okay, whatever. Question 5, let's move on, because what? Hello there, devs. Regarding the introduction of supercarriers, will there be a new set of planetary materials? The one part of industry in this game that freaking works? I don't know, let's see. Initially, the advanced components for supercarriers need to be manufactured through complicated processes with planetary materials. Hang on a second. Complicated processes? But Cloud, isn't it that anything that's complicated is a bad idea for this game? Aren't we trying to dumb this game down far enough that the smooth brains can get on with it and just not have to think anymore? Isn't that why we're doing all these AI nanocores that fly the ship for you and now are going to be mining? Make up your mind, please. Either you want the complexity or you don't. Stop giving us, no, it's too complex, or, hey, we're upping the complexity, because then you just look like a freaking moron. Genuinely, I'm not calling you a moron, but you look like one when that's your argument. However, due to the complexity of the process, we do not have plans to introduce it at this time. You can obtain advanced components through the component shipping container currently. Oh, yay, thank you. We appreciate your support for Eve Echoes and hope you enjoy the game. Or rather, we appreciate your support for Eve Echoes. Note the subtle nod to a paid product. Please keep swiping your credit card so that our shareholders are happy. And, promised myself I wouldn't get angry at this one. Promised myself I wouldn't get angry at this one. And yet here we are. Once again, it comes down to, hey, yes, we could have put new content in the game, but if you're struggling, swipe your freaking credit card. What has this game come to? What has this game come to? When this game launched, it was the beacon, the poster child for post-bullshit mobile gaming. It was not pay to win. It wasn't just keep swiping your card to climb the charts. It was actually fun. It was meaningful. Consequences and choices mattered. It took the spirit of Eve and condensed it into a mobile game. Now, it's turning into a freaking idle miner, an idle farmer, that just rewards you for swiping your credit card over and over and over again. And that just... You've taken everything that was good about this game and monetized it. All the fun content requires you to just keep on swiping. And yet, but I managed to get all of this myself with, just my 14 accounts that I have. Yeah, well, that's not the average player. The game should be set up for, how one player can handle it. And that just... God, it makes me so angry. It makes me so angry to know what Eve Echoes could have been and what it actually is. And it makes me so undeniably sad. Again... I keep doing the dev Q&As each week because I enjoy this, and it is cathartic to get to ramble and rant like this. It's nice to talk about game design and, explain how this could be. But at the same time, every time I talk about how Eve Echoes could be, you just realize that it's not. And that's all active decisions. It's not like the developers have gone, oh, whoops, the game slipped away from us. It's all active decisions. It was all chipped away at piece by piece by piece. All the little things that made this game special, chipped away and replaced with the ability to swipe your credit card for it. That's what's happened here, piece by piece by piece. It's like that old analogy of putting a frog into hot water. If you drop a frog in a bowl of hot water, it'll jump straight out. But if you put a frog into a frying pan, a pot of cold water, and then you slowly heat the water up to boiling, the frog will stay in there until it dies. Don't obviously do that with frogs, it's cruel and it's horrible, but it's an analogy. And the point is that by doing it piece by piece by piece, people just don't notice until it's too late, and now it's become the norm, which is why we get people asking, when do I get an AI nanocore? When do I get this broken thing that I have to pay for? Because it's become the norm. It's become necessary for people to have these things in order to feel like they're actually competing. And so the people who don't have them, even if the content is actually working for them, still want that stuff. But let's be honest, the content isn't working for anyone. PvE is boring as hell, which is why they have added an AI nanocore to help you skip it. If PvE was fun, you wouldn't want a nanocore to skip it. I don't want someone to fly my ships through C3 or C5 wormhole ratting or abyssal dead spaces in EVE Online, because it's fun content. It's like buying a video game and then handing the controller to someone else and you just watching. That's not where the fun is for me, and it never is going to be where the fun is. But rather than fix it and make it fun, they just sold you a way to patch over it, basically. Not even patched over it, just sold you a way to patch over it. So half of us still can't do it, the other half have just, had to swipe for it. And is that fair? Is that fun? Is that meaningful? No, it's none of those things. Mining is so boring that, people are crying out for it to be automated. It's also worthless because they've decimated the market. They completely freaking screwed the market by making it one ITC, viewable from anywhere, completely safe to haul to in most situations, and ultimately then having everyone compete with everyone in one market. There's no ability to spread and reduce competition or sell in areas that have less competition. It just doesn't exist in EVE Echoes because it's all at one market. It means hauling is dead. It means marketeering is pretty much dead. It means that the market itself is just flooded with loot because sites instantly respawn. You run a combat site and a new one spawns almost instantly. You just keep running combat sites as long as you want to, get all the loot, all the ISK. You're just printing. Hyperinflation on the market. It is killing this game. And yet people ask for more of it because that's all Echoes is now. That is all Echoes is. I promise you I am still working on a Science-y video and a Chameleon video and a couple of other videos as well. They're just taking time because it's so hard to log into this game without wanting to just throw my phone out the window. And it's a fairly new phone, so I don't want to do that because that would just be a waste of money. And I don't have the money to buy a new phone right now. Anyway, folks, if you are feeling like you want to throw your phone out the window because of what EVE Echoes is doing, let me know in the comment section down below. If you have something really cool that you're enjoying in EVE Echoes, let me know as well. I genuinely love hearing stories of people saying, hey, I've managed to find fun, here's how I'm doing it. I don't like it when people just gloss over and go, oh well, I don't care that I have to spend $350 a month to stay relevant. That's not a good answer. But if you found something that you can do that you're enjoying, I'd love to hear it in the comment section down below. Otherwise, if I made you laugh at least once in this, or if I made you go, yeah, you're right, you owe me a like and a subscribe if you haven't already. Otherwise, happy sailing, and see you in New Eden!